What's up, guys? We are back, and we do have a special one for y'all today. We have FenFab's new aluminum pan. That's right, aluminum. This is a sexy motherfucker. Just look at that.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm gonna need some new underwear soon.
Oh look! Even a magnetic plug on the.
Yep, got a fancy little Mishimoto magnetic plug here. This pan is not only wider, it is a little deeper. It's roughly gonna hold about 1.5 quart more. We're gonna find out exactly how much once we go to do mine. So I got a brand new 10 quart capacity thing. I actually just did an oil change about 500 miles ago, and I use Driven Racing oil. That shit is $17 a quart, but it's great stuff. You can also use HSF 10 to save yourself 10% from Driven Racing oil. They did officially sponsor us, so we do have our first sponsor there. So shout out to them. And if you want some really good oil, again, use HSF 10. It'll save you some money. You can try it out. It's very comparable to AMSOIL. I would say it's even better. And I know the AMSOIL boys might attack me for that, so this is opinion based, right? So this should be a fairly simple swap. We're actually going to reuse the OEM oil pan gasket. Ford is pretty good at using a really solid gasket for their transmission pans and their oil pans. So it doesn't really need to be replaced too often. So I think we could get away with just reusing the OEM one. I think there's gonna be 2 bolts that are gonna be kind of tricky to get to, that are gonna be kind of under the subframe, but not impossible. We're gonna start with those harder ones, but first we gotta get under here, get out the that little under tray shield. I think first though, we're gonna come up here. I'm gonna loosen up the oil filter. I'm not gonna replace it, I'm just gonna loosen it up. That way it can kind of drain out a little bit quicker. And we're gonna crawl underneath here. You're just getting this cover off that's back here. So actually what I'm gonna start with is all the plastic clips. I'm just gonna throw that off to the side over there. So right here you can see our oil pan. Again, you're just gonna have these 2, which happen to be right underneath the subframe, which is apparently the pain in the ass ones to get to, but everything else is free.
Do you think a swivel ratcheting wrench might be?
Yeah, a swivel ratcheting wrench would be perfect for this situation. And they're all 10s, so it's nothing crazy. I actually have something really special for that, so let me go grab it real quick and I'll show y'all. All right, so I have this fancy swivel head ratcheting wrench. It's actually really long and skinny. I'm gonna slide it up there. And again, guys, having the right tools helps. So we're just gonna crack those loose.
Milwaukee, sponsor us.
This is actually Matco, but yeah, Milwaukee still fucking sponsor me, dude. Wait, where are my Milwaukee gloves, dude? I need to find those.
We need a video out there.
I'm just gonna undo these first, and then I'm gonna undo the pan to get the oil out. I just wanted to go ahead and knock these out because
they're hard to reach.
Yeah, these will be the most difficult ones to reach. All the other ones, dude, will zip right off with an impact, so I'm pretty excited. That's probably just getting caught up in the gasket now. So those are loose and off. We're gonna go ahead and start draining the oil pan here with our fancy UPR drain plug. Look at that fresh oil, dude. It still looks brand new.
It does.
I just did it like 300 miles ago, maybe 500 at most, guys. Not even that. I'm probably being really generous, dude. I really just did an oil change, which is why I had Ryan go and buy us this new one so we could reuse this.
Yeah.
Okay, so it did drain a majority of the oil. I even took it off so I could like hurry the hell up and fucking drain because these UPR plugs are slow. So I'm gonna go up.
But they are convenient.
They are, yeah.
we go. Kind of leaked out the back a little bit. Trying to think of the best way to do this. It's going to be taking it and rotating it. Take out
those bolts that are under the subframe.
Yep. Alright, see if we can somehow snake this out of here. There we go. Basically just twisting this thing sideways. I'm gonna go ahead and take off my little drain plug over here. Give myself some more clearance. There it goes. All right.
Oh no!
We made a mess.
Rag.
Where's my rag?
All right, so here's the deal. Special guest Eddie over here. This guy runs the Texas page, so if you're in Texas, all the awesome meats happen because this guy here.
So you're why all my ads get deleted?
All right, so here we have the FenFab pipe. So we had to do two things here, and we did them off camera because we're trying to figure out, right, because this OEM pan comes out at an awkward angle. We had to undo both the bolts, the nuts for the engine mounts, and then we, on the bell housing, we put two jack stands under there. Check it out. On the subframe, I undid the two 24 millimeters for the engine mounts, and I'll show you where those are at. And then on the bell housing, we put the jack and jacked it up about 2 inches, kind of as much as we could. When it started jacking up the whole car, we're like, okay, we know that's as much as it's going to go, right? Another thing is, Brett was on the fence of whether he wanted to use the OEM gasket or not, and didn't make this to an actual desired height. Not a big deal, because what we have here is Honda Bond, and if you've never heard of this shit, this is the best silicone liquid gasket on earth, and I'll fight anybody over that. So
Alternatively, though, what could we also use?
You could use just a normal RTV, like the red stuff. That is pretty good stuff.
For like an oil-based gasket maker.
Correct, yeah. You just go to O'Reilly's, pick up a good oil-based one. If you want some good stuff, actually, Honda, fun fact, does not use gaskets on their oil pans. This is all they use. So me, previously being a Honda guy, got the Honda back here. I normally have a couple of these tubes on hand. Ryan is kind of a non-believer in this stuff, you know, because he never knew. You know, typical stuff. It's okay. So what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to get a glove. You get this stuff on your clothes, it does not come off. I promise you it does not. So I'm going to get a glove real quick. And I'm just going to run this a good bead around the whole thing here. And this stuff is thick and tacky.
That car looked like, you know, the P-51 Mustangs for nothing.
That's a grocery getter.
That is a high performance.
To go to the grocery
That is
store.
a high performance racing machine.
You made it into one. That's not why Ford made it back in the day. So Ryan asked if one
Speaking of
season-
grocery getters, huh?
Dude, this is a race car, dude.
Ford definitely made it like that.
Yeah, Ford definitely made a race car. They didn't make a family car.
Yeah.
What's up, little dude? Hey, go inside.
Where you going, bro?
All right, guys, so right here and here, you'll see that there's these big 24s. You'll undo those. That's for your engine mounts. And then we've got the jack stands. So for all you jack stand wars, I was like, where's your jack stands? They're there.
They're there.
So I'm going to carefully slide this up. And And then I'm gonna rotate it without trying to make a mess with all the RTB we got on here. And we're just going to kind of line things up, push it into place. That Honda Bond's on it. As you see, it's tacky like that, right? It's pretty damn tacky by itself, but give me a couple of these bolts here. And we'll just kind of help line things up a little bit better by starting to bolt things up. We're just gonna gently run like 2 of these in here. Yeah, gently. Now there is kind of a sequence that you normally like kind of tighten down the pan from. It's kind of like anything else that's flat. You're gonna start in the middle and work your way out. Hey, can you look up the torque specs on the oil pan bolts? See if you can find something, Eddie.
Yeah, pretty sure it's 10.
Yeah, I know it's nothing crazy.
22 to 26 foot-pounds.
Okay, so pretty dang light.
Do you have a small torque?
I think we just knocked that out by hand.
Yeah. All right, guys. So what we did is I went around again. I started in the middle and went here, 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 here. You know, you just kind of you start in the middle. I know this is a really bad example. Start here, you go to the other side, and then here, and then cross, and then cross, and then cross, and so you work your way to the outside, right? Because you're trying to make sure that pan comes out. Go ahead and let down the jack, very nice and easy.
All right, jack's coming down easy.
Yep.
At 40 miles an hour, you can be
One down.
anywhere you wanted and smash it, and it would rotate.
There it goes. All right, you can see these
So the timing
these come back through, so we're gonna just start those back by hand.
so we turn it
Weights off
down
the jack.
to
All right.
8.
My ears are ringing. There you go, guys. Pan's in. We're gonna top it off and kind of see where the full line's at. So we're gonna get these jack stands out from under here. I'm going to clean everything with some brake clean real quick, just make sure we don't got any excess.
Rock and roll.
All right, guys. Pan's on. I did leave the carpet one off so we could double check for leaks. Everything's tight underneath. We have roughly about 8 quarts of oil. Again, because I reused the other one, so we calculated about half quart low. It was barely on the dipstick. I put 2 in there. Now it's full, so we're gonna say roughly 8 quarts it takes to fill this up. Previous was 6.5. We are a little over the full line, which is pretty perfect for these because with all the launching, you don't want to starve. So we're gonna start it up and pray for no leaks now. All right, guys, so gotta do a trans brake hit for Adam. He wanted one. We got the trans like 150. We're gonna do a little pull here just to kind of help warm it up a little bit more. This thing is, I forget I'm in an Explorer sometimes, guys, the way this thing moves out. I love this thing. Absolutely love this platform. Hands down, like easily my favorite car. One of them anyway. I don't know. I'd say this is my favorite, guys. I love this thing. Love, love, love it. All right, come on. Just wait on one more car to pass and I'll have some time to step out and kind of activate my trans brake. They're just going so slow because they think I'm a cop. And I'm sure I'm about to make their heart drop too real quick. They just push on the brakes. All right, guys, here we go. Here we go. And the car kind of came out of nowhere. Oh, shit. All right, we got the trans brake activated. I definitely spun. I felt the Mickey Thompson spin. I'm gonna try to get one more in, just for scientific reasons. Again, this is all for data, guys. This is all for the Explorer community. Me abusing my Explorer on these welds and Mickey Thompsons. I'm gonna try to leave a little bit harder on the trans brake. All right, in the OG spot of where I broke my last axle. Let's pray that this one holds up. All right, guys, here we go. Oh, and for one more shits and giggles, shit, giggles and shits. I'm gonna pull into the driveway. Well, I'm gonna pull down this one more back road over here. Not driveway. This one back road over here. I'm gonna do a foot brake. Again, try to just give them as much data as possible. Somebody walking? No, okay. Oh my God, y'all flew away. All right, guys, so two things, right? I'm sorry we didn't film, but we were actually rushing to get to the oval track after I put that pan on. So I literally put that pan on. We drove straight to the oval track, and I did fucking, I came in second place. That Mustang that has been chopping at my ankles finally got the best of me. And we had no testing on the pan. So like Adam from ZFG literally called me stupid. He was like, what are you doing? He's like, we have no testing. We don't know if this is going to be any more beneficial or it could be worse. Right. But I was like, baffled pan, it's not going to be any worse. You know what I mean? Which turns out to not be. Turns out the pan is phenomenal, and I'll tell you all about it. But I feel like there's some things I got to discuss, right? Everybody saw me say the OEM gasket did not fit. That's true. Brett is fixing that. So all the ones that are going out to the customers, they're going to come with the drain plug, and he's going to make sure that that OEM gasket fits. 2, I forgot he sent me bolts. So my dumbass reused the OEM bolts. It comes with bolts, so it does not sit on the welds. So you don't have to worry about that. That was me being dumb, silly me. So make sure you use the bolts that he provided. Looks like some Allen head bolts, some stainless ones, pretty nice. I'll end up swapping mine out eventually. But for now, no leaks, pan's holding, so it's good, it's golden. Third thing is, yes, I reused my oil in my car because I only had 500 miles on it. So what I did is I went to O'Reilly's, I picked up a brand new oil catch pan, drained the oil into there, and then just dumped it back into the car. Now, the tricky part is that there's no really way to measure exactly how much I put back in there. There was 6.5 quarts in the car. I went ahead and assumed it was 6 because once you have that pan off, there's gonna be stuff that just continues to kind of drip out and drain out. You know how oil is. So I'd roughly say I lost about probably half a quart on the ground. So make sure you got plenty of rags and towels under there if you're on your back doing it. And then obviously I really just went to the full mark on the dipstick. So what I ended up doing was I put the entire 6 quarts back in there, and then I put about another 2 quarts in there. So it's roughly about 8 quarts to 8.5, somewhere around there. I'll know for sure next time I do an oil change and I drain it all out and I know what it fills up to that dipstick. I'll try to be more accurate with that for y'all. But this was a super simple install. Again, so getting the OEM one out would have been easier if I just right off the bat would have undid the 2 engine mount nuts on the bottom and jacked it up. It would have been easier to get the OEM one out. Would have been easier to access those 2 10mm that are on the side underneath the subframe just a little bit more. You would actually probably would have been able to fit a socket or an electric little wrench in there doing that. And so again, learn from my mistakes, do things a little bit easier. If you actually watch this to the end, I appreciate you guys. And now to the good news. Everybody's like, what about the data, Travis? Well, I went out data logging for Adam on the phone when I was on the way to the track. He said it looked really promising. Came back, did some laptop logs for him last night. And guys, this pan is the truth. And I think it's gonna be super, super beneficial to everybody that tracks their car or drives it hard. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a track weapon, kind of like how I use mine, it's beneficial as all get out. All right, guys, and the reason it is beneficial is because check this out. So right, our old school, the way that we do it is because we already knew that this was an issue with the Explorer dipping in oil pressure, was add an extra half quart, it helps it out from dipping so low, right? But the issue is, even in the logs that we're seeing, okay, the Explorer, when you're launching or in the upper RPMs, is around 80 PSI, give or take. You know, it's a variable pump, so it's between, I'd say 70 PSI and 80 PSI, maybe 85 PSI. Like I've seen some kind of go up to that level. But again, nonetheless, let's just say 80 PSI. I was doing launches and it was dipping down to 38 PSI for about a second. And then it was catching back up with itself and coming back up, right? And you're like, oh, that's not that bad. You know, but you think about it, that's half of the oil pressure that it originally started with. So that's a pretty nasty, hard dip. Now, the issue is not that it's dipping down to the high 30s, or even into the low 40s, right? It's like if you're not watching your oil pressure when you go to the track or when you're launching it or playing around or whatever, I've seen it dip down into the 10s, like 15. I've seen it dip below 10. And then what are you risking? You're risking damaging your bearings. And you're like, oh, it's only for a second. It's not that bad, right? But okay, it might not immediately spin a bearing. It might not immediately show its side effects, right? But the consequences of constantly doing that over and over and over again for months, pass after pass after pass, could potentially, in the long run, start scarring that bearing, and eventually spin it. Therefore, you spun a bearing and your motor is toast. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, right? I'm not trying to scare anybody into just buying $500-600 pan off the rip and having it installed and spending probably $1,000 all in. I don't know what it's going to cost like a normal shop to do this, right? So I don't want to scare everybody and just, oh, I got to go get this pan now, right? Because I think that the stock pan with 6.5 quarts is still beneficial to about probably 60 to 70% of the Explorer community. Like, because there's a lot of people that just have modded their Explorer a little bit and just occasionally get on it every once in a while. The pan's probably not for you, okay? And I'm saying this because I don't want y'all to go and spend $500-600 if you don't necessarily have to. Now, for all the hardcore racers that are hitting the track every weekend, constantly doing pools, whatever, get one of these pans. It's going to be extremely beneficial, not only, again, for performance-wise, but for longevity of these engines, keeping that at a good oil pressure, especially when the engine is demanding that oil pressure. That's where you want to keep it, right? Because it's fine in lower RPMs, right? But when you're getting on it and that oil's sloshing around and foaming around and whatever, you want that oil to be sucked up in the engine. You don't want it to be like at the bottom of a cup, like sucking up, like, you know, like when you have a little bit of drink left in the bottom of your cup and it's slurping it up. You don't want it doing that. You just don't want it to do that. So again, guys, as always, I hope this was helpful. If you'll have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me. We do installs over here at Houston Speed Freaks. I've had a lot of people ask that. I don't just do a YouTube channel. You could also pick up one of these oil pans right from HoustonSpeedFreaks.com to help support the channel. And then if you're in the Houston area or want to drive over here, we will even install it for you. Just hit us up for a quote and I'll get y'all taken care of. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all guys. Thanks for sharing, and subscribing. And until the next one.